Um, so here's my piece. I'm working on this owl carving, and I've arrived at a very interesting decision to make. It's why I love doing art, and it's just one of those really creative moments, which is a good example of what the whole creative process is all about. And so I'm carving away on my carving here. Okay, my original design was I'd have my owl here as the front. His head's going to be turned this way. Okay. Now I've run into this little notch here that I'm cutting out, and I'm looking at the shape of this stone. So this is where the stone comes into play too, right? And now so I basically spent the morning carving this owl, thinking his head was going to be turned this way the whole time. But now, just based on how the stone is cut away right here, this is when I got the stone, it actually makes more sense anatomically to have the head facing this way. Because then the head kind of protrudes out a little bit, and it sticks out a little bit when it's turned to the side, and then the wings are kind of almost underneath. But here, I can't really do that, because if the head's sticking out and the wings are underneath, I'm going to cut all this back away here. And so I have a really interesting decision to make. Now, I could shorten the whole piece, right? I could bring the top of the head down to here, and then the head would stick out a little bit right there as it's turned to the side looking that way. And then the wings would kind of come in down here. Well, this is where it gets interesting, because I have this huge chunk of stone down here, and this I was going to make it into like a log where the eggs were going to be, and this owl's going to be standing perched with his eggs down below, and he's going to be looking this way. He's going to be looking out over top of his nest, and this is where all the action is going to be. So now you got to think about composition, right? What happens if the owl's looking this way? Well, there's nothing over here, right? It just drops off. Now, anatomically, you're going to get a taller, you're going to end up with a taller sculpture, right? By about half an inch, maybe. So what is more important? This is the question for myself. What do I think is more important? What do I think is going to make a stronger piece, right? I'm all about height. Anytime you have height with a carving, that's a great thing. So I don't like to lose too much height. So I could take off half an inch, maybe end up being a little more. Maybe it'll be down here. Okay. And then I'm going to have compositionally, I'll have the owl looking out over here, over his eggs, over all the action that's going to be over here. Right. But you're going to have a shorter carving, but I think you're going to have a stronger composition, because I feel like it balances the whole piece a lot better if the owl is looking this way. If he's looking out here, it's not as balanced, even though anatomically it's going to be more succinct, and the piece is going to be taller, a little bit taller, right? And so you're going to have the owl looking out this way, which it could work, right? Like he's looking out over here, and then he has his nest and his eggs and stuff down here, or her eggs and nest. As far as I know, owls pair up and they both take turns looking after the eggs. I keep calling this owl a he, so already there's some sort of masculine aspect to this stone or design or whatever. But anyways, that's the decision I have to make right now. And to be honest with you, I'm leaning towards having the owl look that way. I think it'll balance out the composition. And I wanted the head to be twisted almost completely sideways, so it's looking right here, and then the back feathers are there. But I guess I could almost do it 3/4. And then if I do it 3/4, then I wouldn't have to lose as much height. I don't think 3/4 is as strong compositionally. I think having the head completely turned to the side could potentially be more dynamic. Anyways, so these are the types of things I'm thinking about today, right now. And that's what makes the creative process so interesting. And I'm going to make a decision on that, and I'm going to go for it. And once I commit, there's no turning back. I think either way is going to work out. I always like to think of it as a win-win. Like, it doesn't really matter what you do. you know, when I make a decision, I'm not going to be looking back thinking, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? I don't care about that. Once I make a decision, I'm going forward with a new design, whatever it's going to be, and it's going to and it's going to have its own things that emerge based on that design that you can't anticipate, that are going to make it interesting and fun and dynamic and alive, and you just keep working at it, right? Maybe you end up cutting all this off at the end. I don't know. But see, now I'm thinking about shipping. I got to ship this piece, so you don't want to have too many things protruding or sticking out. Creative decisions, creative decision making. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make a decision on this. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but I gotta turn this off because I gotta focus all of my attention on this decision that I'm gonna make, and really look at this piece with my creative instincts, I guess. All right, cheers.